Hi, in this video you will learn how to use the REPL IDE. Now REPL is the name of the IDE, and IDE, as you may know, stands for Integrated Development Environment, which is basically a text editor where you develop your Python programs. But it's not just an editor, it has also some extra features which help you during the development process, and REPL has those features. The points we will cover in this video are how to navigate the REPL directory, then how to create a new REPL and write and run Python code in that REPL, how to install Python packages, how to create more Python files or other files in your REPL environment, how to upload files in REPL. So those are basic concepts. Then we will go to more advanced concepts such as how to use Git, how to debug your code by using the REPL debugger, how to change the settings of your REPL environment, and also you'll learn how to share your REPL with other people so they can see or copy your code and use the same REPL, and you'll also learn how to collaborate with others in the same REPL. I do recommend you to take notes because you may need these things during the course. One note though, if you have your own favorite IDE, feel free to use it. But I do recommend you to give REPL a try because it does have features which you will not find in traditional IDEs. So give it a try. Let's start with the first point, the project directory. So after you sign up, you should be able to create new folders and new REPLs. Basically what you want to do is create folders to organize your REPLs inside folders. Let's say this would be the introduction folder. So that created a new introduction folder. I can go inside that folder and create a new REPL. Now there are several languages that the REPL supports. The one we want to choose is Python. Then you can give a name to your REPL. I'll just call this introduction script and press on create REPL. Now this introduction script is not the name of the Python file, it's just the name of the REPL, and a REPL, as you will see now, is basically a computer which you can access from your browser, and in this computer you have files. So we can start coding right away in this main.py file. As you can see, REPL supports syntax highlighting and also code introspection on the fly, so you can see that this is highlighting what arguments we can pass to the print function, right? When you're still inside these brackets, the window will show up when you are typing. To run, just press the run button, and here you see the output. Now, installing packages, Python packages. In REPL you can install any package that you like. All you have to do is go to this packages tool here, and you should be able to search for a package such as pandas. And then be careful what you install here. So we want pandas, the second one, not pandas 2. I don't know what that is. And REPL will install that package for you. And if you see this green window, that means pandas, the library has been installed. You can go ahead and import it. Run. So we didn't get any errors. We got this printed out, and pandas has been imported since we didn't get errors. You can go back to the first tool to go to your files, and you can create more Python files if you like. Let's say calculate.py. Let's say x equals to 10, and then from main.py you can import calculate. And of course you can use the attributes of calculate, which is x in this case. Run. and you get hello world printed out and also 10. So what happens when you do run is that REPL will always run the main.py file. So it basically executes the command python main.py on the terminal. In other words, your main script, which is the entry point of your projects, should be main.py. Besides py files, you can also create other type of files, data.txt for example, and you can use the editor to add content. You can also create other extensions such as data.csv. So there you go. And you can also organize your project into different folders. So with that button you can create a folder, for example files, and you can drag and drop files into that folder. Right. You can also use these dots to go to the upload file menu and upload a file from your computer to REPL. Depending on the file, it should take a while until the file uploads, and if you click the file, a REPL should be able to play it. Even though I wouldn't rely on REPL to watch movies, so we're crossing the line here. So you can create and upload files in REPL. Next, using Git. If you go to the second menu, you can create a Git repository. So what is Git? Git is a version control system. It helps you manage the versions of your programs. So if you write a program and you write it up to a point, but then you want to go back to a previous state of your program, you can use Git for that. And GitHub then is a cloud repository where you upload your programs, and that works like a backup of your program, but also as a collaboration tool, so others can get your code from GitHub and use it. So first, let's explain Git a bit more, how it works on REPL. So as you develop your programs, you want to do commits, which are basically records of your state of your program. For example, let's say we write the program up to here, hi again, and then you want to do a commit to record this code. So let's say you want to say add hi again message, and then you press commit and push. So what happened is that now we have two commits. The first commit was an automatic one, so this here, and this one was manual from us. So only the first commit is automatic, but then the other ones, it's up to you. So for example, let's say you want to keep going, add maybe a function foo x return x. You want to register this feature now, so you say again commit, add function to return x, for example, commit and push. And so now we have 3 commits. The benefit of Git now is that if you don't want this function anymore, so you want to go to the previous state of the program, of course you could delete this function or press Ctrl Z to undo it, but imagine when you enter code here, you enter some code here, between the lines, so it becomes complex. In that case, the best way to do is to go to the previous commit, so to the commit where we set a hi again message, add hi again message, and press on revert it here. Confirm, and REPL will delete that function. And that happens using Git. Now GitHub. If you scroll up, you'll see this button, connect to GitHub. And you should have a GitHub account. You can create one on github.com. Once you create that account, you can log in here and then you can create repositories for your GitHub remote cloud account. So for example, let's say this is introduction script. You can choose any name you want. You can keep it public or private. If you want everyone to see your repo on the internet, you can press on public, otherwise keep it private. Create GitHub repository, and then if you go to github.com, so this is my GitHub and I have a GitHub account here, and you'll see that this is a repository we just created, so it's 41 seconds ago, 44. So if you click on there, you'll see here we have all the files that we had on REPL, so they are synchronized here. We also have some extra files which REPL creates by default, such as these configuration files, but we don't need them, so let them stay there. And again, you can keep adding code. Print bye add by message as a commit message, and press on commit and push. And that should synchronize now with your GitHub repository as well. So let's check that. If you refresh, you see now that the main.py file has this commit message, add by message. So that's the last commit for that particular file. You don't see the same message with the other files because they were not changed in that particular commit. The last commit, calculate.py, was changed, it was in the first commit, in the initial automatic commit. So if you click on main.py now, you'll see the change that was applied to that last particular commit. That one. Right. So that was a crash course on Git and GitHub as well. Now the debugger, which is a very nice feature, very minimalistic but very powerful of Git. Let's suppose we have this code, x equals to 10 and y equals to x times 2, z equals to y plus 20, print z, run. So when I press this run button, I'm running the script, the entire script. I'm not using any debugger. But if you want to know the value of y, for example, and you don't want to enter a print function here just to see the value of y, what you can do is use the debugger. What you do is you set a breakpoint. You click somewhere in this area here next to the line where you want the script execution to stop, to halt. So I got 2 breakpoints, now I want only one, so to remove that first one I can click there and it disappears. So make sure that the breakpoint is in line 3, so this one here, you also see the 3 in here, and then press this button here next to the debugger tool. And you should see some information down here. So we see the value of x is 10 and the value of y is 20. We don't see the value of z because we set the breakpoints here. So this line is not executed where the breakpoint is. So that's about the debugger. It's very helpful when you have problems with your code. So if we were not getting the expected value for z, we would want to check the value of its dependence. So z is being calculated from y and x. The debugger is a good way to check that. And then you can stop the debugger in here, remove the breakpoints, and then you can run the code as usual. Now, in this console you can also write code interactively. So this works as an interactive Python shell as well. This shell is the Linux terminal. You don't usually need it, but when we need it, I'll tell you what we can do with this in the future programs that we'll build in the course. Then we have the settings. So these are self-explanatory, so if you want to change something, you can do so and see how REPL changes. to share your REPL, you can just copy this code and give it to anyone you want, and they should be able to open that URL and should see something like this. So if you click on show files, you should see all the files we had in our project. Now, the free plan of REPL does not have the private feature, so your REPLs are public. And if you press that button, the REPL should run, so the code should run. And lastly, if you want to collaborate with others, you can use this invite button and either provide an email to someone you know or a username, a REPL username, and they will get an invitation, and then you can collaborate in REPL. For example, you can start threads and comment here. This number is integer. Press, and that will show as a comment from your part. And that completes this REPL tutorial. So try to make the best of it. Thank you for following. I'll talk to you in the next video.